Sam, I noticed behind you, I see, is that an award? What am I looking at?
Oh, that actually, you're looking at a poster. You're looking at a poster from Big Trouble in Little China that I
Oh,
got from the studio. There's also my little framed picture from Aliens. Both of those films were very instrumental in my life because, first of all, I had a really good friend who was a writing partner who was head security guard at 20th Century Fox, which is why I was able to get on the set of Big Trouble in Little China. And it reunited me with the martial artists there, which led to that first feature I told you about that we did, because I wanted to recreate that alley scene. That was my main inspiration, that alley scene where Gerald Okamura and all those guys and Eric Lee and all those guys attacked. I said, I wanted to recreate that. So I ended up doing it with a lot of the actual people, which was fun. And then there's Aliens. That's a whole other story. You have to see my YouTube video for that, because my boss's brother executive produced and co-wrote the original Alien, and it was also my very first seminar at the film school, where I interviewed the cast, crew, director, and I really wanted to meet the film composer, but that's another story. This is a reminder that I was the first person to interview Harrison Ford. This is from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
really?
Yeah.
How cool. You were the first person to interview Harrison Ford?
Yeah. It became a party tape at DreamWorks because it was so crazy. We were originally supposed to interview the producer, Frank Marshall, and Frank Marshall just told my boss, you know what, I can bring Harrison Ford. And everybody went crazy. My boss decided to rent a theater. He rented a theater, put a radio announcement out. We had a line around the block. The place was full. We were both nervous, and we got out there and did it. But the problem was they didn't have a PA system set up. So we ended up having to shout to the audience, but it still worked out okay. But it became a party tape at DreamWorks for a while. My favorite moment, this is terrible. I keep coming up with these little moments, but this is a moment I really wanted to get out there because it's my favorite moment during the session, where we've been talking. We're running out of time, and I have to eventually go to the audience for questions. So I'm asking Frank Marshall, well, you just finished a film called Poltergeist. He said, yep. So I said, you want to tell us about it? He said, nope. So I turned to Harrison, and he goes, you just finished a film called Blade Runner. He goes, yeah. You want to tell us about it? Nope. So I thought, okay. So I went to the audience. Okay, any questions from the audience? Some guy in the back yells, what's the best taco stand in LA? And I went, no, I've just lost control. And then Frank Marshall started laughing. And I realized I was being heckled by Walter Hill. He had just finished Streets of Fire and had come in to check out the interview session.
Oh, that's a funny story.
It was crazy.
Oh, that's a good story. Sam, is there a favorite film of yours that you didn't work on, but you wish you would have?
Ooh, that's a loaded question to ask a film geek like me. But I have two motion pictures that I admire more than anything. They sort of color my way of thinking and working when it comes to movies. One's a horror film and one's a fantasy film. Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho and Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life. Interesting contrast, but yes. Psycho introduced me to the power of editing. I also saw that at an early age, and the fact that it affected me so much really turned me on to the power of film. I said, how could a movie like that make me feel these intense emotions? And the main thing, editing-wise, the most famous scene in the film is a film that would have easily gotten an X rating if shot any other time period. But Hitchcock figured out how to do it right. And I mean, a naked woman in a shower being attacked. I mean, this was 1959 when he shot it, and it was released in 1960. You couldn't get away with that, but the editing was so brilliant that he got away with it. And then there's It's a Wonderful Life, which is one of the most beautiful stories that was rejected and had to be done independently. And Jimmy Stewart had to come back from World War II to star in it. And he wasn't sure his acting was up to snuff. And he gave one of the best performances I ever saw. And the
Wow.
movie makes me cry every time I see it anyway. I'm kind of emotional when it comes to movies.
I can't imagine from your beginning at 7 years of age on to a mature man, uh, your passion, your love, you still love horror movies. It never changed. Where do you see yourself going? Where, I mean, here you are, you're back in the Midwest. You're not out mingling. How are you going to get projects? I mean, I know your name is well known, and I know it's probably a really stupid question, but how does work come to you when you're in the Midwest and you're not out mingling with people?
The internet and YouTube. I love the internet because I can communicate and do work with anyone I want around the world. And YouTube keeps my name at least out there. I have had my YouTube channel for 11 years. I got there early. I wasn't one of those guys that had a specialty or was going to do something. I mean, it's named after me. That's because it's not specific. It's all about what I'm feeling about like doing at the time. And because of that, I get different job offers every once in a while.
Awesome.
The same thing happened with the Internet Movie Database page. This is, again, the advantage of age. I was working at a post house at the time, and my boss suggested, you ought to say, send them your resume and whatnot. So I was one of the early people to be put on the Internet Movie Database page. Now it is the source for motion pictures. So I'm a part.
Wow.
I got on that very early. I got YouTube very early, and so I just sit back and do my work. My gosh, when I think about the people that were discovered on YouTube, like that TV show, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and Justin Bieber's career. I mean, YouTube has been great because it's independent,
Yeah.
and you don't need studios. I have another quick story to tell. When I was with Sherwood Oaks, and we had moved to one of the Charlie Chaplin theaters on Las Palmas, just off Sunset. Francis
Mhm.
Ford Coppola had just leased General Cinema Studios a few blocks down, where he was going to start, what was his company name? He was going to use our school during the day to teach youngsters film. We would continue our night classes. But he had his own studio, and we had a free invitation to go there. They were shooting Mel Brooks' History of the World Part 2 there. He was shooting all of his movies there, all of this great stuff. So I got to see all that happen.
Sam, has your work always just been in America, or have you ever gone around the world?
I've been around the world twice. I started doing documentaries in the latter part of my years in LA. And we did a lot of really interesting things. We did one about the real first man in space. We did one on Atlantis. We did one on we did a lot of very interesting documentaries, but I got to go around the world.
Oh,
I
wow.
even spent a lot of time in Ukraine and Turkey before things got kind of scary. That was a wonderful experience because one of the things that I really, really was enjoying was comparing life in America to life overseas.
Exactly.
And Bangladesh was a very profound lesson for me. I went there twice. We were doing documentaries on the gibbon population there in the
Hmm.
jungles, and you could see the contrast between the rich and the poor, and it was disheartening. And it seemed that out in the jungle, life was fabulous. I had such great times being out there doing the work, and I got along so well with the people. It's probably one of my best experiences working on those documentaries. Someone told me that at film school, if you want to travel, get into the film business.
Well, or the martial art.
True,
Yeah.
true.
Oh, yeah, that worked. I know Mark and Craig have both always made the comment that you never can understand what life is like on the other side of the world by just reading in a book. You have to live there and experience, and then you truly understand what life is like on the other side of the world. So obviously that's what you experienced by traveling, and you have a total different understanding of the places you visited rather than reading in a book. I always say, the young generation of today, I tell all of them, before you get married, before you settle down, before you have kids and the whole work, give yourself a reward and travel. Travel and see the world. Make yourself well rounded, because living in America is wonderful. But just look at how many foreigners come to America to live, to learn. I think more of the American teenagers, after they get out of school and before they get right into their serious way of life, should travel, should live in a country somewhere. And I think it's an education. I know Mark and Craig, when we moved to Germany, oh, mom wouldn't want to go. They were so miserable and unhappy. Took time to adjust. But now, as grown men, they both come to me and I've said we would have never been speaking languages. We would never understand customs. We would never understand the points of view, political, non-political, foods, people. And to them, they are so grateful. So yes, that's always my message I tell young kids today. Did it improve your editing was it different in the other part of the world?
Not necessarily. It was just a different subject, but certainly improved my outlook on things. I was a very cynical kind of a person. Although I did have empathy for everything that I was involved with, but just seeing America from another country's point of view really makes you think about things, and you become much more aware of what's going on. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
your intelligence broadens the more you're exposed to other cultures.
You said you did a lot of work in the martial art world and also in I think you said bodybuilding world.
Mm.
Can you elaborate on that? What did you do in both of them?
Okay, I guess I should get the bodybuilding world out of the way first, because that was much more profound an experience, and that also led to the martial arts world.
You mean
I
bodybuilding came first?
Yes, it came first. I was at film school and I met a guy who was a bodybuilder himself, but he was also a screenwriter. And we became friends and we would talk. And then he was going to do an autobiography of Charles Atlas and wanted to go to a bodybuilding contest. And I'd never been to one. I wasn't that interested. I didn't really care. But we went to one and it was in Santa Monica. And I instantly got floored. It was like, okay, I wasn't really into the physique thing as much, but the enthusiasm of the audience got to me. And then you start really realizing the work that these people had done to do that to their physiques. And then something magical happened. Everything stopped. And this girl came out to do a posing routine. And I had never seen anything
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
magical.
Her name was Lisa Lyon. She was the very
Oh
first.
yeah, I have a book right here.
Yes, she became famous. I was there for her first performance, and I couldn't believe what I was looking at. And that's when I started grabbing. When I would be sure when I was working in the office, but I would be grabbing an issue of Muscle and Fitness, looking for female bodybuilders, wondering if this thing was really happening. And I discovered a lady by the name of Kay Baxter.
Oh yeah.
She reminded me of a gymnast, and I really admired gymnasts. And I found out that she was one when I finally met her. But what ended up happening was, in those days, bodybuilders would have their post office boxes in the magazines so their fans could write them.
Oh,
So of
really?
course, I sent Kay a letter. She responded immediately. I sent her a treatment of a screenplay I wanted that she inspired. She responded immediately.
Wow.
Then she told me that she was at something called the Zane Haven. I think it was, I don't remember exactly where it was. I think it was in Palm Springs. And the person I was staying with, I said, can I borrow your car? I want to drive to Palm Springs. I drove all the way out there. Frank Zane greeted me like I was an old friend. I had never met him before. He was just so cool. And I said, I just want to talk to Kay Baxter. And she goes, oh, that's her room right there. And I went, what? You know, it was like I was meeting a movie star or something. So I walked up, knocked on the door. She opened it. I had a screenplay for the script of the treatment that I'd sent her. I said, here, read this. And then I left. And that was it. That
You
started.
were starstruck.
Yes, I was. That started that started our relationship. I started out as a fan, became a client because of Easy TV. They gave me equipment to create my first video feature, and I featured her in one of the segments, and then did a documentary on her. We became
Oh,
partners, and
she was
then
so awesome.
oh,
Loved her.
she was the best. She was deeper than she was the best friend I ever had on this planet. I have to say that. And I'll never forget. We were at an event. It was a big I don't know what it was. It was some fashion thing, and she was modeling Madonna wear. And there was a martial arts display, and she was studying martial arts. And Eric Lee was there, and I had met Eric earlier at our film school, and then met him again. We were reunited on the set of Big Trouble in Little China, 20th Century Fox. So I told Kay, okay, you know what? I want you to change martial arts instructors. I want to introduce you to Eric Lee. And so I ended up introducing them. And the next thing you know, we're all getting together. We make our little movie together. It was more of a fun affair, but I was really happy to be involved in the first martial arts feature film I ever did, because I always wanted to make one. And
Oh, cool.
so it's like all of this led together. But then again, the bodybuilding community is like the martial arts community. They have a certain philosophy that I really, really adhere to. And next thing you know, I was doing work for other bodybuilders. I did training videos and all that. And the same thing happened in the martial arts community. I did a lot of training videos with Eric. I did a lot of training videos with other people. Graciela Casillas, wonderful lady.
She's a nice lady. Yeah,
Yes, I
she's
did a
really
lot of her
cool.
videos. I mean, I did so many thanks to all of that.
Oh, that's
Leadership.
amazing. My most favorite female bodybuilder, of course, was Rachel McClish. Did you ever work with her?
I never worked with her. I always wanted to, but I met her. She is a darling. We were going to put on an event, especially dedicated to her, but unfortunately, COVID happened and
Oh,
it
yeah.
ended everything. See, another person, thanks to the bodybuilding community that I met and became partners with, was a guy named Mike Glass. He's a big martial arts promoter, and we did a lot.
Craig knows him.
Yeah, we
I
did a
think
lot.
I think my girlfriend, he's still a trainer at Gold's Gym,
Yep.
right? I think
Oh,
my girlfriend.
he's an independent trainer, but we still work together every now and again. And he's just a great guy, you know. And
Yeah.
he does what he can. And he's a pioneer too.
Yeah, because I've heard Craig mention that name several times, and my girlfriend told me she had a private trainer, and that's who her private trainer is.
Oh,
Awesome.
wow, awesome. Yeah.
Still today, that's her trainer.
Mhm.
You know,
We still
that's good.
communicate on Facebook. I love Facebook for
Really?
that. I can communicate with
Well, yeah.
everybody I've ever worked with.
Yeah, I love it. It's quick. It's not like sending a letter and wait for the Pony Express to deliver it. This is
Right.
instant. It's cool.
True.
Sam, what are your plans? What do you have planned for yourself for the future? What should we know about?
Okay. I've kind of had my Hollywood experience. It kind of burnt me out a little bit. There's a lot of things that go on there that have changed. It's no longer the Hollywood it used to be. There's just too much corporate interest involved. So I tend to continue with the internet route. I love being able to create on the internet, but I still have one goal, and I hope to accomplish that next year. I still want to make one feature film with a real budget.
Well, if that's what you want, you will.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it's already pretty much in the works. I've done so much for so little, you know, there's that line again. I've done so much with so little for so long, I got used to it. I can't wait to get my hands. It was like when, okay, this is another crazy story I have to tell. I remember when some friends of mine and I, there was a distribution company called Avco Embassy, and I had friends that worked there, and we used to go there and just talk and have fun. They were about to get a film from a Canadian filmmaker called Scanners, a Canadian filmmaker named David Cronenberg. And we were so enthusiastic about that because we had seen one of his early films in Canada. And so we said, you gotta do it, you gotta do it, you gotta do it. Next thing you know, Scanners comes to America, becomes a big hit. And when David Cronenberg came here, he said the one thing that I'm saying right now. He said, now that I'm a part of Hollywood, I can't wait to spend some of that Hollywood money.
Oh,
I just fell in love with that. And
Ah,
I was like, and he got it. And David Cronenberg is still one of my favorite filmmakers of all time.
there's so many people, young martial artists or wannabe filmmakers or short movies or documentaries. Is there any kind of advice you can give to people that are maybe planning to begin a project that would help them make the road easier for themselves?
Well, it's never going to be easy, but I can say the one thing that Francis Ford Coppola told us that inspired us. He just said, if you got an idea, start it. Because if you start it, it eventually will build its own momentum and somehow you're going to get it done. I've seen a lot of low budget films happen that way. All these independent people, okay, look at Blair Witch. I mean, that is a film that was shot with a VHS camera and a 16 millimeter camera, and that became a sensation. So it's like, okay, just if you have an idea, start it, get it going, just do it. That's the perennial phrase, just do it. And if you're committed enough, eventually it'll happen. Eventually it'll get out there.
As you're speaking, I think to myself, you have so much knowledge and know-how. You'd probably make a great film if you were to produce you could make a great film because you have so much knowledge. You'd know what to do, not to do, how to do it. Is that so?
I consider everything that I've learned part of my own particular makeup, because I know that if someone gave me the chance, I can make something really, really, really decent, but I'm not going to push it. That's my only thing. Dustin Hoffman said the most valuable thing his agent told him was that talent isn't worth a thing if you can't sell it. And me not being a salesman and not wanting to be a salesman, I'm perfectly satisfied with just creating. I just want to create. But if someone does give me the opportunity, I'm not going to step back.
Well, no, it's like I have a lot of dreams that good Lord allowing me to have an extension on life. I hope to fulfill them. And one day I hope to do something together with Mark, whether we do or we don't. I hope. I know Mark and I kind of work really good together. And so that's one of my dreams. And I also think that I'm really good at I'm a great choreographer. That I know about myself. I really am good. I think I'd be good putting a movie together. Whether that's true or not true, I would only know if I did it. But it is also one of my dreams to do a short film. Not nothing big and major. I'll come to you for help. But I have.
Well, we did do that. We did do that one project together, the 50th anniversary of the Kaji Kembo tournament.
Yeah.
I really like that project.
Yeah.
Great one.
I have never even seen it.
Oh my gosh, I'll send you a copy.
Yeah, I have not seen that. I've done so much work and I've never seen it. Yeah, I hope one day to be able to do a short film. I don't know why I wouldn't. I
Yes.
have a lot of knowledge and know-how. But do you have any words you would like to share with people that would be something that they could take to heart and remember what Sam Odom said to them?
That's difficult. I really have to get deep into my head for something like that, because I have a very, very specific philosophy about life, and because it's so malleable, and that's why I always say whatever works. As long as you have a desire and a need to fulfill that desire, you have complete license to do whatever you can creatively to get it to work for you. And I trust in my faith. I trust in my friends. I trust in so many things to help me bring all of this together. And so far it has worked very well.
Well, speak of faith, with me, I always, anything's possible if you have faith and believe in uh, the Almighty. And me, I pray about everything I do, whether I should do it, not do it. The way we started today was such a disaster. Here I am. I've done quite a few interviews, and everything I've been doing runs so smoothly, never a problem. And today I'm so excited. I have a film editor, filmmaker that I'm interviewing. And what happens at the beginning? Nothing worked. The equipment wouldn't work,
Oh, that's so
nothing
funny.
worked. And I said,
See,
how can this be? I'm jinxed. And so
that's so funny. It's
that
so
was
funny because
hysterical.
it was, but I look at it this way. I mean, this is I'm the first technician that you interviewed, so I figured it's inevitable that we'd have technical problems eventually. But
But actually,
fortunately, we could fix them. That's the most
yeah, oh,
important
yeah,
thing.
because I'm kind of grateful that it happened, because I said, okay, we got to fix this problem. Off we go. And so I said to myself, okay, Malia, look at what you guys at least were able to get. And so I was so happy, because when I went back and played forward, sure enough, even when you do a Zoom show, you have to prepare. I have this and this, I do that, and my water, and move things around. And had we gone through the whole interview and it was over with, and I'm now looking, I would have said, I don't care how good it was, I'm not going to let you put that out, because over here, Sam, sitting on my couch with all my scissors and scotch tape and lipsticks and things there it was. I didn't move it. So destiny worked again. I
Not only
gosh,
that, not only that, you learned an important film lesson. That's why I forgot to mention the most important crew members on a film set. And one of the most important person on a crew is the script supervisor, because they look for things like that. They would have noticed the scissors and all that stuff. They would have noticed the mess I had back here. They would say, no, no, stop, stop. They're the only ones that have authority over the director to stop a scene.
Oh, that would be a good job for me, because boy, old eagle eye here, but I couldn't believe it. Right here, everything was sitting here, and I forgot to clear it out. So so that was good. But Sam, I know you do amazing work. I know I can say, actually, Sam does all my editing for me for my Zoom project here. I started my Zoom and my interviews, Road to the Top. And, I thought, well, I want it to look the best that I can possibly make it look. It's a no budget for me. I'm doing this at home and make everything look as best. But I thought I would like to have a touch added to it, a touch of Hollywood, a touch of class. And I thought, who? And I remembered Sam has done such amazing work. That I have actually seen. And so I worked out a deal with Sam, and he works with me now, and I work with him. Together we team up, and we're a pretty good team. He makes all that I do. If you like what you see, it's Sam who puts in the editing and the effects, and it's me who sets up the props, and nobody helps me with my dialogue. This is me. I'm just me. But Sam, I appreciate all that you do, because I must say, when people do view Road to the Top, it's never, not once, somebody doesn't comment on my intro, how you put all that together. That is so sharp, so good. And throughout the course of the interview, you add this and that, you give it a touch to bring it more to life. And I appreciate that so much. So I really feel honored to have someone like Sam who said, okay, Malia, I'll give it a chance. We'll give it a go and see what happens. And so if you like what you see, Sam makes me look good. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. I really appreciate working with you. You keep me motivated. I mean, especially the way things have been lately. And to be able to work with you again like this has just been wonderful. I really appreciate that too. And it's cross country.
What's so calm is you're mellow and I'm hyper. I can come to you with, or you may be hyper. I've never seen that side of you, but you're always
Nobody
laid
sees
back.
that. Nobody ever sees that. I do
No,
that.
I've never seen that side of you. Me, everybody knows me. I I explode, and then I calm down. That's me. That's who I am. But I love you dearly, and I'm so happy that we're working together. And I have big hopes for future plans, and I know good things will come your way. And I will always, always tell people if they're looking for someone to do projects to work with you, because you really know what you're doing. You're just like you said, a well-kept secret. And that is kind of me too, a well-kept secret. I don't go out much. This is now reinventing Malia. That's what you're doing. You're reinventing Malia. So
No,
I
we're
appreciate that.
reinventing each other. This is
Yeah, we are.
I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I love you dearly. I'm so glad we met all that time ago. And I'm
Yes.
glad we're still working
Yeah,
together. This is fun.
me
This is
too. Yeah.
fabulous.
I'm glad that God has blessed us to keep us forward. I know God blessed you with getting your health back online. Thank God for that. God keeps me going forward, because at my age, a lot of people don't do what I do. I'm
That's
grateful
amazing. You
for
are
God
amazing.
in my life. Well, God makes me amazing, and I'm so appreciative that I have such a strong faith and that I believe.
I did want to mention one thing that I seem to, coming back to my neighborhood, I'm in a blessed position because I am a block away from the church where I was an altar boy. I'm a block away from the church where my dad was a deacon, and I'm a block away from the hospital that brought me back. So I've been blessed.
Oh my gosh, you're surrounded by angels and God. Well,
Good.
I must say, you look good. You look happy and healthy, and I'm
Thank
glad
you.
to see that. So now maybe well, our paths will meet in person
Mhm.
some in the new year if all goes well.
I'm looking
So,
forward to a trip in October. We need to get together and have some dim sum.
oh yeah, did you get hungry when you were doing the dim sum editing?
Oh, yes. And I'm so glad I discovered we had one here where I live. But of course, I'm near the University of Illinois, and a lot of our students are Korean. So they have to have restaurants like that. It's so cool.
Have you won any other awards that I don't know about?
Yeah, I won for a couple of documentaries. I also won for a horror feature film that I did. My last one. I won an award at a Modesto Horror Film Festival called Scream Fest. I won Best Feature for a documentary I did on a couple very sad story. They had both suffered major accidents and were working for a major real estate firm. I documented their stories. The girl was the first female executive that they put in charge of a major branch of the company. Unfortunately, she didn't survive, but we were really, really close. And I felt, I didn't know how to feel when we won the award for the documentary, because yeah, there were a lot of emotions going on, because I really felt for the couple, and they let me do it on my own because, again, it was an emotional project. So I can handle the emotion for a bit, but every once in a while I think about that. And awards are nice acknowledgments, but again, the work is what keeps you
Yeah,
going.
yeah. Now, your YouTube channel, is it your name, or do you
Yeah.
have just your name?
Yeah,
So they were,
I wasn't very original. I mean, it was one of those, again, I was there very early, so I didn't think about creating something special. So I just put my name out there.
Sam
Mhm.
Odom. How do you
Actually,
spell the last name?
yes, Oldham. And the first name is full. It's Samuel. Samuel
Samuel.
Oldham.
Well, golly, everybody tune in to his YouTube channel as well. That's cool. I have to look.
Especially this summer. This summer, I'm going to load it up. You're going to be surprised what
Okay,
you see.
good. All right.
Okay.
Sam, I know you've done so many amazing things, and there's a lot of people who would actually really be interested in reading Have you written a book, or do you intend to write a book?
Well, that's funny you should ask, because a lot of my friends keep telling me I should. And I realized that since I'm such a shy person, I avoided the limelight. I avoided the spotlight. I didn't want to get my pictures taken. And I regret it now because of some of the contexts and the experiences I've had. So I started documenting it all in a little diary that I'm turning into a book. And I'm just waiting for the ending. I have
Or
a
the ending?
I have a
Whoa!
particular happy ending that I can see coming, and I'm waiting for that so I can put
But
it down and
the
then write the book.
the book is in progress. It's in motion.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, let's hurry up and get it finished so that I can remember, I can read it.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
nobody's gonna believe it. Nobody's gonna believe it. I got some really
okay.
strange stories. Yeah.
Was your mother and father, did they approve of the direction you were going with your life when you were a young man, as far as
Hmm.
editing is concerned?
Well, interesting story. My dad had different visions for me, but I wasn't the athletic sort. I was more creative, and my mom saw that and really encouraged me, especially when she saw that I had a tendency toward music. She inspired my beginnings in music because I played in bands and orchestras when I was in grade school, high school, and yeah, grade school and high school. And when I decided to get into film, she was behind me the whole time. Uh, I only have one regret, that I wanted to make it big faster so I could bring her to California so she could see the
Oh,
mountains and the oceans, which was one of her dreams.
oh,
But at least I was able to
yes.
send her pictures and video.
But Daddy had other plans that he thought you should follow. Mother was for this one.
Yeah, yeah. My dad was more grounded. Also, the times were kind of
Mm.
strange. I mean,
Do
I'm
you
sure.
have do you have brothers and sisters?
Oh yes, huge family. I have
Really?
I have four younger sisters, two older sisters, and one brother.
Oh my gosh, where are you in the lineup?
I'm after the two sisters. I have two older sisters. I'm the oldest in the immediate family.
Oh, wow. And this is real personal, but have you ever been married?
No, which I find very interesting. I wanted to make a name for myself first, but I didn't realize what a struggle would be, even though I maintain a lot of very nice female relationships. I've only had maybe three really serious ones, but I wanted to make sure that I was, grounded and settled before I got serious. But, I don't know. It's time works in mysterious ways also. So,
I always say destiny is written. Whatever it's going to be, will be. God
that's
has the
true.
path.
And
I
I
always,
still haven't given up. I still have prospects.
oh no, you never give up. I
True.
never will give up. I'm a fighter for the littlest of things. I don't ever give up. It
Here we
keeps
go.
me motivated. So, but and then if you come from a family of, you said your grandfather was a minister, or you
Oh,
were
my
an
father.
altar,
My father
you
was a
were an
deacon.
altar boy. Are you?
Mhm.
Do you still in this day? Are you still a follow God, religious man? Your faith is it still very strong?
I do, but I have a different outlook than most people, which is interesting. You should bring that up because I've always wanted to say this. Uh, I learned something very interesting when I was working on the documentaries, because I interviewed a lot of scientists, and they had a certain philosophy about myths and legends, and they gave me this weird thing to think about. They said, if you took all the myths and legends and put them in a colander and you shook it really hard, and all the BS uh, left out, you'd be left with a bit of truth. Now, we have a lot of different religions, and there are a lot of religions that believe one thing where other religions believe different things. I grew up and I was raised Catholic, and my dad was Baptist, and a lot of my relatives are Baptists. And I can see similarities in things and I can see differences in things, but it always really boils down to one very basic truth, and that God is love. And he's here and he's in all of us. And as long as we have faith, we're in touch with that. And it's a big, big thing.
Yeah. Well, with me, I don't believe in religion. I believe in the Bible.
Thank you. That's kind of the point I was headed toward. Yeah.
Yes, I believe in the Bible, and I believe, the Spirit of God lives within me, and I know that to be true. But no, as far as religion, there's so many religions out there, but I just believe in the Bible because for me, that's the truth. So, okay. All right, Sam, that's good. I think we got some good points to put in there that we didn't talk about. I want to make this really good for you. Okay.
I wonder how long this one's going to be. This is going to be a good one. I'll pay, of course I have to pay special attention to this one.
Oh, that's what I told my girlfriend, Maria. I said, Maria, I'm interviewing Sam tomorrow. And she said, oh, Sam, he's your editor. I said, yeah, you guess what? He bought a new computer for his interview. She started laughing. He wants it to be the best. And she said, well, I would do the same thing. When do they hire you to edit? After the film's finished or before? Do they know who's going to edit the film?
Yeah, the smart directors hire them in the beginning because, again, it's very valuable that the editor be familiar with the project as much as he can be. It's easier for them to edit it that way if they know the script, if they know what went on during production. I've even heard of some films that even invite the editor onto the set.
I was just going to ask you, do you go on the set?
Me, I don't. I'm always very solitary. I just sit in my little room and do my cutting. But
you have to stop being so shy. Stop, come out of your cocoon and blossom.
Well, that's what my YouTube channel is for.
Okay, you can blossom. Mine too. See, I love this. I have on a top here, necklace and hair, but on the bottom I have on fluffy slippers and pajamas.
I don't have pants.
I love it.
No, I'm kidding. I do have pants. I was just joking. I hear that joke said a lot.
Sam, I see you have a cup of tea. I have my water, and I want to toast you. Thank you, Sam, so much for all that you do for everybody. The good Lord is going to bless you with a pot of gold.
Thank you.
Love you, Sam. Thank you. Here's to you. Take a sip.
Love you.
Nothing like water. All right, Sam.
Nothing
bye-bye.
Like
okay, Sam. Have a good day. Thank you. All right.